Welcome to The Unfolding. I'm Olivier and I'm really grateful you're choosing to spend some time with me. My intention is to explore topics about connection, meaning, and staying human in this digital age. If what you hear feels nourishing, you're welcome to subscribe, like, or follow. It's a simple way of supporting my work and helping it reach others. Thank you so much. The Human Expansion School. Why did you choose that name and what does it represent for you?
The initial name, it was the Human Transformation School. And the Human Transformation School is a name that I received in London when I was living in London 4 or 5 years ago. I was meditating with my best friend in Weaversfield, which is a park in Bethnal Green, East London. And while that was a period of my life where I was observing a lot nature, I was observing a lot the stillness, the effortless flourishing of nature. And in those years, I was in parallel learning from nature. And so there is this majestic tree in Weaversfield, this park. And I was just there in stillness, observing this tree and asking myself the questions. How is it possible that you apparently do nothing, that you apparently do not move, and you flourish gloriously with apparently no effort? And in this sort of trippy situations and meditations, at some point I received the Human Transformation School. And I screamed at my best friends. I said, the Human Transformation School, bro. And he's like, what is it? And I'm like, I don't know, but I have the certainty that this is what I'm going to manifest in this life. This is what I'm meant to give birth to in this life. After that point, the divine God, however you want to call it, made sure and aligned everything in my life for the Human Transformation School to be born after a few years. So I received a business partner that could help me set up the business. I received some teams here and there. And most of all, I received the heart certainty that we're good to go. Because we mostly live really fragmented from what the hearts want, what the heart wants, and what the mind wants, or what the heart wants. Usually the voice of the body, the voice of your heart is way quieter and of a lower potency than the mess, the chaos of your mind. So we tend to listen more to our mind, and usually it's not what the body really needs, what the body really wishes. So after a few years receiving that name, I haven't chosen that name, the first name. Or actually my field attracted or matched with that name. I launched the school 2 years ago, and then still relating it to your question, so where the name comes from. I'm really bad with when exactly happened. So let's say earlier this year, I felt again that we needed an upgrade because we transform to expand. So the outcome is the expansion through a transformation. What does that mean practically? Whatever, because here part of the work is becoming again as empty as we were when we were born. Inner emptiness is one of the goals of well-being, spirituality, or at least whatever I offer. So that then our body can become again habitable for the energies of abundance, for the energies of joy, for whatever energy you want to embody. But since we have had so many conditionings, so many dogmas, so many craps, a lot of our inner channels are clogged, are blocked from conditioning that could say, I'm not worthy of receiving love as I am. I'm not worthy of receiving money if I'm not overly productive. I'm not worthy of receiving care, or I'm only worthy of receiving love if I don't cry, if I'm not sensual, if I'm not emotional. So all those codes, I call them codes, we can call them conditioning, are stored as a form of contraction in the body, as a form of tightness in the body. And the more contractions we have, the less energies can flow, the more full of things that we have not chosen we are. So we want to transform this contraction, open them up, liberating them either can be through verbal expressions, through putting a boundary that I didn't put when I was a child, crying what I haven't cried, saying I love you to when I didn't. So expressing the unexpressed, saying the unsaid, crying the uncried, because all those contractions are energies that have not finalized their expression.
Expansion. Yeah.
So we transform to become more and more and more and more empty so we can make love with life as much as we were making love with life when we were kids, or at least most of us.
So what I'm understanding is that with the Human Exponential School, you want to create experiences that will allow pain, traumas, blockages to be able to be expressed so that people can be free from them and therefore give the space that is necessary to be able to actually enjoy life. Is that it?
Yeah, beautifully said. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, how do we do that? And is the only way to come to the Human Exponential School, or because that sounds like a great idea, like yes, I'm gonna do all this and cry, and but like for me, I'm here, how do I do that? I'm feeling some tensions. I know there's many things like that happened to me in my past, and I can see a sense of pressure, like, oh my god, I need to do all this to free myself so I can enjoy life. So what would you answer to me on that?
Mm. You don't have to do anything that you don't really want to. Yeah. This is a path. First, everything that I'm saying, whoever is watching, take it only if it resonates in your body and in your heart. Only if what I'm saying creates a little warmth or it makes you say, ah. Otherwise, throw it. Yeah. I don't have anyone else's truth. I'm just sharing my truth. One question I would throw to you and to everyone watching that could give you a sense of some sort of imbalance in your life. How much you do on a daily basis to nourish your body and how much you do to nourish your mind. And based on that, how much imbalance you can see between what I call the horse and the rider. The rider is constantly giving instructions. It's overly usually giving instruction to the horse. The instructions of the mind are usually based in either past or future oriented dynamics. So you can ask the body to do and do something related to the future or perform or go somewhere or think about what happened 2 days ago or worry about something that has not even happened. Everything related to the present moment is everything related to your body, from here to down, basically. Because your body is constantly living in the present moment. Your heart is always there. Your liver, your organs, your blood. The only piece of you that does not live in the present moment is your brain. So, how much of your daily life is dedicated to past and future? And how much of it, through different activities, is dedicated to nourish your body in the present moment? How do you nourish your body? Many different ways. A little dance, of course, apart from water and food. Yeah. Dancing, having a present conversation with someone, jumping, screaming, crying, hugging yourself or someone else, meditating, being in stillness, conscious walk, being with nature. So, how much of your day to day is in the present moment, and how much of your day to day is in the mind? That's one thing that came to me that could give you a map of, oh shit, I'm constantly in the past, future, doing, and I'm not really being with life or being with my body.
Would you say that a lot of the time in your life you were mostly in your head and in the future and the past and not in the present?
Completely. And that's where the inner separation comes on board, the inner fragmentation. And you start disconnecting yourself from the depth of your needs, the depth of your wishes, which come from your body, from your heart, because you're constantly, your energetic concentration shift from down to up to up to up. Where does nature draw its energy from? Down, up. Where do we usually draw our energy from? From here to here. Yeah, we have completely lost connection to what's happening in the body. And so for most of my life, of course, I was mostly in my mind because I needed to perform, I needed to prove myself, I needed to bring results, I needed to achieve, and it was detrimental in the long term. Because in the corporate world, you learn that success must come at the expenses of your inner well-being.
You used to work with big companies and working in marketing. Is that it?
In
And so,
sales,
where did that message come from? Did it come from earlier on from school? Like, how was it for you to have this message, and how did you transcend that?
a big truth that most of us were born into is the culture of sacrifice. My mom was telling me, Nico, I love you, but you will need to work hard to get what you want. Your spine, your back will need to hurt. If it's not hurting, keep working till it hurts. I'm paraphrasing what she said. So the culture of sacrifice, the culture of it needs to be heavy in order to be worthwhile. It needs to be tiring, it needs to be exhausting in order to say, okay, I've done enough. And I personally, and I've seen it everywhere in my environments, we were born with what I do cannot be fully enjoyable. It has to be a constant sacrifice. Otherwise, it's kind of not worth living it. And I feel this is also coming from how much the word pleasure has been shut down, repressed, and disowned. I'm Italian. So the collective field was born into pleasure is shameful, pleasure, it's, the Pope, the church, Christianism. pleasure is only related to genitals. So we need to mask this and embody sacrifice. So what did I do personally? I put myself the helmet of the war, and every day I was going to war. You know, okay, let's go to war, let's go and conquer, let's go and close the deal. And then I go back home, and if I'm not tired, I will keep working. Because if I stop working and I rest, I will feel guilty. You know what I'm saying? I will feel guilty for resting or for enjoying myself.
Do you think that that's the general culture that you grew up in, and in Italy, you grew up in Sicily, is that right? Yeah. Would you say that in Sicily, there's very much this idea that you constantly need to sacrifice yourself?
No, I think it's across. Because honestly, no, Sicily, it's actually very nature oriented. You become a little farm or in the country field, so you could actually be more in touch with nature, presence, and beauty in Sicily. I feel it's a collective uh, dogma. Yeah,
Like
unless
a
yeah,
general societal
yeah,
understanding.
yeah, disease. Unless you were born with a tantric family. Or with a family that, I don't know, I've done a lot of inner work, or but corporate world or society in general, that's what I've seen on me, and that's what I've seen. And again, especially if you're in the corporate world, and especially if you're in sales, where your worth is only based upon how many deals you close. Yeah, and that's when you become your job title, and you forget about the human being behind the job title that has wishes, needs, and wants different from the job title. So you self-abuse. It's a constant self-abuse.
You mentioned apart if you are from a tantric family. What is that? Uh, I know a little bit about Tantra, not that much, but a tiny bit. But I imagine that most people who are listening maybe have heard the word and think that it's about sex position or something like that. So when you're telling me about a tantric family, I'm like, what is he talking about? So
Yeah.
maybe you can tell me a little word about that.
Okay, this whenever they ask me, I must say that the definition of tantra for me changes every second. It depends on what I feel in the moment, and I'm going to give you my personal definition and my personal way of living tantra, based on, of course, what I've studied, but mainly based on what I experience in my body every day. And of course, it's been prostitutized and commercialized to sex, only because Tantra is one of the few, let's call it spiritual traditions, that look at all the human dimensions with the same eyes, with the eyes of presence, awareness, and curiosity, without rejecting any of our human dimensions. So Tantra, of course, includes the sexual dimension, as much as includes the mental, the emotional, the spiritual, and the physical. That's it. Tantra for me is an all-inclusive package of looking at who you are with curiosity and innocence. Innocence means with no purpose nor objective, you know, which is one of the energy that we've lost. We can talk about after if we feel. So Tantra wants to bring a meditative approach, which is observation and presence to all the aspects of your life, especially those aspects of your life where you tend to completely lose presence. Sex, because the intensity, the excitement is so high that you lose touch with the present. Yeah.
Why is it so high? Is it because we repress it?
I believe, again, a big conditioning of sex has been this constant thrust, friction based, tension based, where we have lost the innocence of it. Because most of the time we make love with a specific objective in mind. So we have already lost presence. What is the objective when we make love? Usually to come, to have an orgasm. Why? Because I'm so stressed during the day that the only way to discharge stress is to make love. So sex is a big topic because there is a lot of work to be done there. And so there is friction, there is performance pressure. I can talk about me as a man. Oh my God, for so many years, my sense of self-worth has been based upon the functioning of my penis, the erection of my penis. So down there for so many years, we carry a lot of weight, a lot of expectations, a lot of pressure. And for many men, me included, my sense of self-worth, a lot of my sense of self-worth was based upon the functioning of my penis. My identity was, is it functioning? Then I feel good. Is it not functioning? Oh my God. Then of course it's all an egoic structure, because you are manly even if your penis is soft sometimes. Yeah, you cannot lose your masculinity or your sense of manhood based upon a part of your body that has all the rights to be sometimes soft, sometimes hard. And that's one part of how much work we can do within sex through our body. Respecting the timing and the pace of our genitals. Working with so many women as well, most of them, the woman's body usually needs more time, more warming up, more preparation before being penetrated. Whereas men, usually we can get an erection very fast. And for fear of not losing the erection, many times we demand and we pressure the woman to be penetrated because I don't want to lose the erection. And the woman, like many of us who maybe have not learned to say, no, love, wait, I need more time. Maybe we have not worked on our boundaries. Maybe we want to play the role of the good wife that does not want to say no to his husband or partner. And so we get and we take and we take and we take. Then how do we take? Because sometimes my vagina needs softness, sometimes tenderness, or sometimes wildness. The textures of penetration. It cannot be all the time use, bruise, and abuse. Vaginas come from a historical wound of being used, abused, and bruised. Because men, historically, we have been using our penis as a tool to conquer, as a tool to dominate, as a tool to say, this is me, let me show you my strength. I was so much there. I was so much in the, I'm going to use sex as a way to self-validate my egoic structure that says, I'm still a warrior. I'm still the king. Do you know how sick that is?
which is really the usual narrative I'm seeing around, especially if I look at porn, for example. I think that's like the main narrative that is in there.
Yeah, yeah.
And you were talking about consent as well, and I'm thinking of the narrative in society right now where there is both an explosion of porn addiction, and at the same time there has been the hashtag Me Too and a lot of talks around consent and things like that, and it seems that it's happening at the same time. How how to navigate that, and do you think that it's linked, that on one side there's this explosion of like using porn and that men tend to feel very lonely and things like that, and at the same time there's this whole idea that like men are bad and they don't respect consent, and that whole narrative, how from your perspective, how do you navigate that when people talk to you about these things?
About what exactly? The rise of porn with?
Rise of porn, and at the same time a sense of we need to restrain ourselves comes hand in hand.
As men.
Yeah, and the whole idea of consent, like,
Mm,
because in my understanding in the recent years I've seen that there has been a lot of talking around consent, which I think is beautiful. My worry is because it's been done very much in a blaming and shaming way,
mm,
and men deserve punishment.
mm,
And at the same time, in the recent few years, pretty much parallelly, I've heard about porn becoming such an issue for a lot of people, especially men. And I'm wondering if it's
mm.
kind of the same process.
Yeah. Look, on the one side, yeah, there is also the aspect of feminism. So porn is just a way to to give you to give, speaking about men, to give men an apparent sense of freedom for 1 second, because talking about masculine and feminine energies that live within us, and there are gender biased, gender above genders. The masculine energy, which is presence, the mountain, stillness, consciousness, Shiva in Tantra, is empty and gets filled by life, energy, nature, the feminine. The problem is the masculine energy in most of us right now is full of shit, full of emails, full of managers, full of things to do. And if I never ever empty out my inner container on a daily basis, I need to find quick dopamine based and toxic way to empty myself out. What happens in London? Alcohol, weekends, drugs on the weekends, porno addiction. Why is that? To give me a little release from the trap of my mind. So that's of course not natural. Plus, and I'm not condemning anything. I'm not condemning porno. I'm not condemning that you masturbate yourself. I'm just asking you to observe. Is that natural? Is your body asking you to leave your body, go into the mind, and create something which is artificial? Because you're watching something that is not happening within you. It's not happening in you. Plus, what you watch is pure disconnection. Because in porno, it's a fragmented sex. It's only genital to genital. There's no emotional depth. There's no emotional sharing. There's no divine to divine. There is nothing. It's pure pum pum pum. So that's on the one side. On the other side, what I see personally is that the feminism phase of some decades ago brought a bit of a disconnection and a bit of exacerbation on women, because they felt like, you're earning more money than me, man. You are doing more things than me. Now let me, woman, put the helmet and let me become more man than you. So they started carrying a lot of repressed anger on men. They started over masculinizing themselves, overworking themselves. In the US, women are already gaining more than men, but forgetting about their body, forgetting about their feminine, forgetting about their sense of pleasure, their touch, their womanhood, their feminine. And so in that case, a lot of that movement created okay, now we need to go against men. Now we want to be better than them. Now we've been abused and used by them. Now we need to be punished. We need to punish them, as you said. We need to condemn them, as you said. And I can see that in the subtle. So I work with different charities. I've not seen, and of course there are, but I've not seen a men's charity. I'm thinking, why are we masking through service, through let's take care of each other, a massive imbalance in the society, where now men need to be kind of isolated, as if we don't need as much support as everybody else. So in the retreats, how many women compared to how many men? Yeah,
I imagine there's a lot more women.
a lot more women. So even in the spiritual world, there is a lot of imbalance, because women have started their inner work way before us. But they live in a society which is over masculinized. So they find their paradise of expression in the retreats, but then they come back home and they have a man that maybe cannot even hold their emotionality or their goddess or their sense of pleasure, whatever. Or they go to work and they still need to wear the masculine helmet. So there is this imbalance. And honestly, Ollie, and then I'll pause. One of the biggest purpose of my school is bringing back balance into a massive polarized world, so that we can become everything that we are again. I can be soft when I need to be soft. I can be strong. I can be assertive. I can be a warrior when I need to be a warrior. I can be still. I can move. I can think. I can feel. I can be hard. I can be tender. Whenever the moment asks me to be whoever I need to be. That's it. That's the work. Is becoming complete again, so that I can respond to life moment to moment with all the ammunition, with all the expressions that I have inside of me. Whereas now we live polarized. We prioritize the mind over the body. We prioritize strength over softness. We prioritize action over stillness. We prioritize sacrifice over pleasure. And Taoism, which is another big school that let's say I practice, it teaches balance and wholeness. Peace. Balance. I can enter my softness and come back to balance. I can enter fear and come back to balance. I can enter sadness and come back to balance. Like animals. What does there is a lion in balance. Is walking, then it sees another lion, he enters fury, and then he comes back to balance. He has not stored anything, he has not accumulated anything, and it's all back to balance. Then maybe they enter fear, they shake, they tremble, and they come back to balance. So they enter and exit every whatever the body needs in the moment, whatever life needs from them in the moment.
So, do you think that's the answer to men watching more porn than they want? Is to get into Taoism?
It's pausing, which is already a very hard thing to say, to pause. The first step maybe is just to pause and say, why am I about to watch a porn? And I'm not saying you don't watch it, but at least you start, let me observe myself as if I had a camera. Bro or sister, why are you watching this porn right now? Because I'm so stressed, or just because I've done so much shit these days that I just wanna be whatever. Okay. And maybe
So
you
it's
will,
really
you will
having a distance and an awareness of just what I'm doing. That doesn't mean not to do it, but just being more conscious of what I'm doing.
conscious and aware. Yeah. And then at some point you will, at least it's your choice. Because most of these dynamics are chosen based on a automatic pilot that you never pause and say, wait, why am I doing this? Okay, because I'm super stressed. Okay, that's good. Let me still do it. The first part of transformation expansion, as you say, as you know, it's let me observe. Let me observe myself as if I had a camera in my house. Let me just observe what I do. And then maybe at some point you will realize, oh shit, this is my mom. This is not me talking like this or doing this. This is my mom. Do I still want this? Want my mom to act within me, through me? Or maybe let me choose. All the traumas, the baseline of traumas is no choice. All the traumas that we have received and faced come from not having had a choice to say no, to say stop, to say, to do whatever we couldn't do. So we want to re-own our life by choosing. Even if the first layer of choosing is still toxic. So you say, I'm watching this porn because I want to watch beautiful people. Okay, at least there is a little bit of awareness. And then you will see how things will hopefully unfold.
So something like looking at what is it that I'm trying to get out of this porn, not just the idea of I just want to come, but what it is that what are the other things that I'm getting while watching this that is nourishing me, and maybe
Yeah,
getting more aware of that.
like what inner need am I trying to fulfill by watching porn? Maybe you will say, it's a little sense of of freedom. And maybe then after a month, you will ask yourself, okay, are there any other healthier way to get a sense of freedom? Maybe I just open the window and scream, or maybe I just go and run in the park half naked, or not half naked, you know? Or maybe I just,
Totally naked.
maybe I just go and dive like you do in whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that it's very similar with alcohol. For me, as much as porn hasn't been so much as much a challenge as, for example, drinking, because it was linked to so many social situations. And when I looked into like why is it that I'm drinking so much, it's also because that's a way of connecting with people, feeling at ease, feeling comfort, togetherness, also touch. When I'm drinking with people, it's easy to like give a hug and be physically closer actually than if I don't. And so being aware of these things has made it more easy for me to find other ways to meet those needs without requiring alcohol all the time.
Yeah. And that is funny because again, it's all linked to a sense of freedom. Can I feel the inherent freedom of wanting to hug? someone, or wanting to give a compliment, or have some physical closeness, even just with a touch of a shoulder, which are all or things that live inside of us already. And it's the notion of being trapped. Why being trapped geographically? That's why wars happen. Being trapped emotionally, being trapped. There is this sense of, I'm trapped because maybe most of us do things that are not really aligned with who they truly are. And so that creates a sense of, I need a way to escape, to be free, to be me, that we easily associate to a quick win. And the quick wins, as you said, are alcohol, porn, drugs. I was heavy on drugs. And so, yeah, I feel it's, how do I liberate myself from this life that traps me? And then maybe you discover, for example, for me, my biggest drugs have always been training. And initially the stillness meditation, the usual one, and then many others. Maybe then, because you still need activities, especially if you do something on a day-to-day that you know it's creating tension, it's creating exhaustion, that you know maybe it's temporary and you're doing it just for money, and at some point you really want to leave that job because you want to do something aligned with who you are. You will still need activities that will make you feel a sense of release, relief, and freedom. So maybe at some point you realize that there are healthier activities, as we said before. For me, it was gym or dancing. For you, maybe it's the plunge
Cold water plunge, yeah.
or the walk in nature, no? When you do the videos. So, and maybe initially you're still doing those activities which are rooted in being trapped, in contraction. They're not rooted in relaxation, but it's still, it's a progress. It's a massive progress.
Um, one thing I've noticed you doing many times is talking to me about the feminine and the masculine. And for me, I don't always know what people mean by that. And sometimes I get lost in this understanding. There are so many traditional ideas that I've received on what it is to be masculine, what it is to be feminine. And at times it was challenging, and it sometimes still is, that I have this voice in me that tells me, you're not masculine enough, you need to be more like this, more like that. And I think for women, like, why aren't you not more feminine? And that's something that comes up a lot. And so when you use it, I'm really curious of what do you mean by it, and what would be a description of masculine and feminine on how you understand it.
Yeah. So first, this is physics. The North Pole could not exist without the South Pole. Your digestion, metabolic digestion, could not live without the anabolic digestion. Your right without the left is nothing. Diastole, systole, I don't know how you say in English, of your heart. It's two different movements of life that coexist within us. I would say pretty balanced since we were born. Um, and there are many ways to explain it. A way that comes to me right now is, can you be aware of your body? Can you be aware of my voice talking right now? Can you be aware of absolutely everything that happens within and without you? Yes. So this answer means that we always have 2 points of perspective. The awareness, that is aware or not of whatever is happening, the experience of life. The awareness, leaning back, is the masculine, the observer. The observed, this is physics words, the observed, whatever is happening, nature, thoughts, the body that is constantly moving, constantly changing, constantly expressing itself, is the feminine. Yeah. So what are or we could say the mountain is the masculine, the river is the feminine. The river is the feminine, the river banks is the masculine. What are the qualities of your masculine energy connected? Presence. Deep, spacious, safe, non-judgmental, pure presence. To what? To whatever is happening. The flow, the colorful, the flashing, appearing, disappearing of life, which is the feminine. Now, the problem is that today, the masculine in us is not bringing still, spacious presence to everything that we are experiencing, the feminine. Whether it's an emotion coming up, whether it's a thought, whether it's an expression of our body. Why? Because the masculine is full of judgment, of distractions. The masculine is not the mountain, the masculine of us and the society. The masculine is pure destruction. Yeah. So I'm talking to you right now, then there is a mosquito, then there is an email, then there is the masculine in us, in most of us right now, is everywhere, but in the present moment. This everywhereness, this constant destruction of the masculine in us creates unsafety for the feminine in us, for our emotions to come up, for our body to speak its truth, for whatever expression of the feminine. Because the feminine can be a wild storm, sensual cat, crying wolf, any life expression. A pearl in a shell needs the shell to be still to grow. So the purpose of the masculine is to be still and spacious enough to amplify the expression, the emotionality, the life expression of the feminine. So right now, the masculine in us is constantly distracted. So the feminine in us, our heart expression, our bodily expression cannot fully open up, or it's judged by the masculine, or it's condemned by the masculine. And this depends upon the conditioning that we have had in childhood. How many of us have had a childhood where we could fully and completely express every truth of our hearts? No one. I don't want to say no one, but no one. And who of us have had a childhood where I could express all of my emotionalities, from anger to deep joy to deep fear? No, because we were told, don't be afraid. What do you mean, don't be afraid? If I'm afraid, let me be afraid. Don't be sad. Don't cry. That's how we started constricting, shutting down the expression of the feminine. In parallel, the masculine become all over the place, and that's where we stop being connected with our bodily expressions.
So, is the feminine linked to women and the masculine linked to men?
No, absolutely not. Because the earth is neither a man nor a woman. but it has a balance of north and south pole. The heart is neither a man nor a woman, but it's balanced in its masculine diastole and feminine systole. The digestive, you know? So another purpose of my work is rebalance both, so that whenever any types of expression, the feminine, comes, I can be spacious, still, and deep enough to observe it and let it express it. Yeah, whatever it is, an emotionality, a desire, a willing to express myself, anything, a willing to cry, a willing to hug, a willingness to anything. So no. Then of course there is a natural predisposition which is your center. For example, I'll ask you these questions. Would you meditate in stillness or dance your entire life? What would you choose if you could choose only one? Would you rather be a still, spacious mountain or a constantly river flow? And you can, of course, you will have maybe 60% more,
Well,
you know?
the first one that came was being in stillness. And then the second one that came was like, no, but I also really want to be the river flow.
Exactly. So each one of us, for example, in my case, then it also depends on what you're doing. Yeah. But maybe I could say 60% masculine, 40% feminine. Yeah. The secret is, can I be still as much as can I be moving freely? Can I be spacious, deep, and present as much as I can be chaotic, uh, colorful, and flowy? Can I be directional and decisional as much as I can let myself be led? Can I hold space? Can I hold my partner as much as I can be held? Can I hold as much as I can surrender? Can I close as much as I can open up, so that we can become complete again? They've called it masculine and feminine to confuse ourselves, but we could call it boom, bam.
I like that.
Yin and yang, they coexist, they live within each other.
I mean that if you are um, exploring more or developing your masculine, that then you will be less feminine.
Of course, if your only practice are meditation and stillness based, of course you will develop more your masculine. Yeah. And since from the beginning they've been unbalanced, because either the feminine or the masculine has been shut down, my suggestion always is to have daily practices where you can balance both. Sometimes you dance, sometimes you paint, sometimes you sing, and sometimes you sit in stillness like Buddha watching the tree for 70 years plus. At least a lot of the spiritual traditions that we grew up with, either Christianism with Jesus or Buddha, or they developed more practices related to the masculine. The Buddha was not telling you to dance or telling you to be crazy. Yeah, sit still. That's where we come from, and that's where, when we say meditation, most of us, we mean cross legs. We don't mean dancing, or we don't mean the flow, or painting, or writing, or singing, or yeah. So that's another little conditioning there around the word meditation. So really the path is balance, love.
what made you so interested in these things? How did you yourself start to go into it? Like, was there a specific moment where you thought, I'm gonna explore life in a different way?
The esoteric answer is that it's not the first time I do it in many lives of mine. But we'll leave that aside. In this life, it's always been in me. When I was 17, 18, 19, 20, I was eating videos of, I started with Eckhart Tolle, Joe Dispenza, Sadhguru, all these people, and my body was, my cells were vibrating, where they were orgasmic, and that's when I feel you realize that's your path. You know, people were coming at my place, we were smoking joints and have super deep conversations. So it's always been with me. I didn't have to hit a wall or to have my kidneys in broken or something to realize it. Then, of course, for many years, I decided to prioritize my financial stability rather than my heart's dream and my heart's expression when I was as a sales director, even though in parallel I was still running retreats, but it was not full time. And then when I did my very first event, Barcelona, 4 or 5 or 6 years ago, I don't know, 40 people in person. I was standing there and my body was feeling I am home again. It was a mix of excitement. It was a mix of I could run and facilitate this workshop for one entire year without eating, only drinking sparkling water. You know? So, what is one activity that you could do forever without getting paid that could make you forget about the time and forget about who you think you are? Even if you tell me it's going to the gym, don't judge it. Just the activity, and I'm sure everyone has it. The problem is that as soon as what is the one activity that I would do over and over and over and over and over again without caring about being paid? This, as soon as it comes up, we cover it with, no, it's not possible. I don't have the talent. I haven't studied for it. I cannot make enough money. And we leave it aside. You know?
For me, I was just thinking about it. For sure, and that came very clear one time when I was underwater in that little stream, was that there was something so I was just part of the world when I was in cold water in nature, and so that kind of touched on that. And the other thing that came to my mind was when I'm facilitating men's group, NVC men's group or nonviolence men's group, that I'm so in the flow and there's like a deep joy that is coming up, and yeah, witnessing the vulnerability of people. For me, it's really like in this kind of place that I can experience that. The holding space in general, there's something about connecting to vulnerability with people that is really nourishing for me. And with nature, it's really around water and and being close to water in nature and with people even better. So yeah, that really it's really around that. But coming to what I was wondering about was when you were saying that you started around like when you were a late teenager listening to all these philosopher, and so let me know when I go again.
Or one question that I wanna throw at the audience,
Yeah.
if I may. What is the one thing that you want and need to offer to the world before dying so that you can die complete?
So that's something that you want to ask the audience.
Yeah, or maybe we can elaborate that, or
let me finish on a like let me
yeah,
do a bit more of where we were, and
mhm.
then after we can go back to this question. That works for you? Do you have it
Yeah,
written down or something not to forget?
I have.
Okay, okay. Um, my question is, okay, you started quite early being interested in all these things. Why? So I'm hearing that you've got this idea that it might be from a past life, or that there's something more spiritual connected to you in this way. I'm wondering if the way you grew up, if in your environment with your family, were there influences that brought you towards this?
There definitely might have been some influences from my parents and family, not directly because they were not doing this type of work or expression. But for example, my mom is deeply, deeply wise. And I say deeply, deeply tantric as well. So, two things. First, there's no why to the core of your purpose. There's no mental understanding, as in, why am I so in love with this activity? It's just a body resonance, a soul resonance, a heart resonance. One of my biggest teacher was calling the soul, was calling it primordial nucleus, which is a nucleus of pulsing information, and mostly dormant information that contain the truth of who you are. For example, the nucleus of a flower that makes that flower a margarita. A flower that was born to be a margarita will never be a tulip because it's,
Maybe it's Daisy. I think it's Daisy, the
let's say a
name.
rose. Let's say a rose.
That's yeah.
So a red rose will never grow up as a tulip because nature is completely aligned with the truth of who they are. We are the only species that, if we were born to be a singer, I could completely do so many other things because there is this connection from our soul's purpose, our primordial nucleus, which is the information that we came here to convey, the most primal, real, and truthful information that we really came here to transmit. Yeah. So it's something that you don't know, you just feel it in your body. So it's a remembrance of who you truly are. Second, in my case, most of my initial healing or awakening has come with and through my parents. What does that mean? When I started observing that my relationship with my body was completely distorted, because for many years I was rejecting my body big times, condemning the way I was looking big times. Relationship with my sexuality was completely all over the place. I had an enough, an open enough family that could hold that type of conversation, which means first conversation, I think I was 22, 23. I started realizing that I was carrying a pattern of rejecting my body, which wasn't clearly not mine, because I've not chosen to reject my body. So I brought this back home at lunch with my parents. I'm like, hey guys, can you narrate? Can you tell me when I was 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years old, how were you loving each other? Were you freely affectionate with each other? Were you freely loving, caring for each other? Or maybe was it all completely muted, silenced, repressed? And you were showing me, you were showing love towards me, but you were not showing love towards each other. And when you are a kid, the energy is way more potent than what they tell you. Because if your mom comes and gives you a smile and say, "Oh my God, my little, I'm so happy," but deep inside it has so much repressed anger, the kid will resonate with repressed anger, not with the words. Yeah. So from that lunch, they all realized, oh shit, we've never really caressed each other. We've never really been intimate in front of you. We have never really been caring for our body, for each other. So of course, that's something that I cannot inherit from them. Or another pattern that I realized on myself was lying, not telling the truth. And at some point, with all the inner work, I realized, why am I lying so much to my exes? Why am I not able to hold the truth? So I go back to my father, because I saw that the masculine lineage from my father was kind of carrying this half truth / lie. I'm like, Daddy, can you reflect one moment? Can we reflect together one moment? Can you tell me, what is your and your brother's father's relationship with lying? Big awakening for him. And it's like, yeah, actually, we've been growing up in a family where the typical Sicilian, don't say this to your grandma, or say this but modify it not to, or just shut this one, you shut up, don't, the half truth kind of things. And this pattern have been so many that I was able to bring them back home, healing, awakening in me and awakening in them as well, because every question was a big realization. Say, wow, I wasn't aware. Because again, most of our patterns, which are repetitive behaviors, we have not chosen them. I've not chosen to live for so many years lying. I've not chosen for so many years to reject my body. I've not chosen for so many years to live in sacrifice and not enjoy. I've not chosen all of those things. So I've had the massive luck and privilege to have a blessed family that could hold this pattern and these truths of mine. And I mean, you know a little bit, but now with my family, my mother is the artistic director of my school. They've gone through so much awakening in the past few years. They do their own inner work every morning. So they're completely now. And that's why, if I may say, unconsciously, families choose the kid or the kids that will help them in their evolution and awakening path. Only if they decide to see, what is my kid bringing me for my own evolution? If any family is listening to us, my suggestion is, if you're a mom or if you're a father, ask yourself, what is my kid, through maybe behaviors that I do not agree upon, through many things that he's bringing that are not part of my values, what is he bringing me to awaken me, to help me evolve, to help me see things that through my kid I'm able to see? Because your kids should be your evolutionary chain and should heal what you were not able to heal. So through them, through your kids, you have an opportunity to heal yourself.
Do they recognize that with you, your parents?
Yeah. No, we're so proud of each other. They're so proud of me and I'm so proud of them. And of course, we have navigated everything. Uh, but they're committed. Otherwise, I guess they would have not manifested a kid that does what I do, what it does. You know? And that's another element that I want to bring more to the word, which is union. Union doesn't mean that you will have to like your mom or you will have to like your father. because union also means I honor you, but I choose you not to be with you or not to walk this path with you for now. But I don't have any resentment, unspoken emotion, unspoken words, unspoken fuck offs, unspoken I love you. I'm neutral. Neutral doesn't mean cold. Neutral, that means relaxed. I see you, I thank you, I love you. I choose not to be with you. Or actually, I choose to walk this path with you, mom and dad. Yeah, because union can be sometimes distorted. Yeah. Union is basically, can I be truthful with myself and bring the truth to the other? That's inner union. And that's how wars will end. But let's not talk about
Why not?
that. But I can see that we should take more responsibility of what happens in the world, because what happens in the world is a reflection of what happens within us. Wars happen because we are at war with what our hearts desire, with what our body needs. We live completely fragmented. Outer war is a reflection of our inner war. And I'm not saying that we should not condemn the guy who created the war, but still, you are responsible as well of everything that happened around us. We are responsible.
So what you're telling me is like, okay, there's a war now between Russia and Ukraine, and what's happening outside in the world means that there's a war happening within me somewhere.
Yes, potentially. In more or less scale, degree, and intensity. Because this is quantum physics. There's no there and here. There's no Russia and Ukraine. There's no I'm here, you're there. Yeah, we know this. It's not Willy Walla. There's no up and down. There's no past and future. Yeah. So
What do you mean? Because I'm not sure most people can agree with that.
if I removed your mind from your entity, would you know what happened yesterday or what will happen tomorrow, or it will be a constant present moment for all of us?
I don't know.
So time is just a psychological situation. Can we agree on that?
Something in me says yes, and then something in me says like, but you look at the seasons, they really change, so time passed by.
But it's all in the present. It's all in the now that unfolds.
Yes.
Yeah. And so one concept, for example, quantum entanglement. This has been studied. Two particles close to each other in space, and then one goes to New York and the other one goes to London. If one changes, the other one changes as well, because there's no space between them.
Wow.
And this is physics. If you try to understand it, don't try to understand it because for the mind is ununderstandable. Yeah. And it's we are already on the, do you feel it, then believe it. You don't feel it, then don't believe it, because it's really hard for the mind to believe. What do you mean? I'm in New York, you're in London, and we can affect each other? Yes. Been
So would you say that to come to the human expansion school, do I need to have a certain set of beliefs, or um, would you say that there is like an element, because it comes with spirituality? From what I understand, there is Tantra, and Tantra is a spirituality. What are the other spiritualities that you belong to? Are you part of a specific spiritual current? Is it a mix? What's going on there?
nothing. The answer is nothing. None of that. We are not here to deprogram you and reprogram you. We are here to deprogram us and not put any programs. The only program is the truth of the moment. That's it. When I say I'm programmed, I meant everything that we've been discussing so far. All the patterns that your family gave you, all the unconscious pattern that you have not chosen. So we do a little clearing of that, releasing of that, and then you choose. There's no new religion that I want to put on you. There's no new dogma. The dogma is you connected to the present moment. Yeah. And choosing, because most of our decisions unconsciously are being driven by family, mom, stories, past, fears, blah, blah, blah. So we get naked, quote unquote, we empty out again, and that's it. That's why I never like to say it's a mix of Tantra, primal dance, transpersonal. It's life. Whatever emerges in the moment there, that's what the body needs to work on. That's very important, because it can feel like, okay, what are you for? Of course, there are spiritual traditions that resonate more or less. But the only truth, mainly Tantra, Taoism, and this is a Spanish one. In English, will be biodance, primal dance, and transpersonal psychology, and all my masters. But the most important thing is still whatever emerges in the present moment for you and in the collective. And one thing that I of course I carry the words, the teachings of my masters, because they live within me, and they've transformed me, expanded me, and I feel that beautiful responsibility. But at the same time, I want to be as unattached to definitions or to traditions, because I know people could understand anything.
You speak about your masters. Who are your masters? Tell me a little bit about your journey with them.
My real master is my body, because the truth is there. The truth is in no one's master. But practically, the schools that I've walked and that I practice every day are Tantra forever, Taoism, transpersonal psychology, biodance, primal dance. So really integrating all the dimensions of our life, because there's no, for example, Western type of therapy or Western type approach has been a lot based on verbal, mental, the traditional psychologist that was not looking maybe at the somatic, at the emotional, at the spiritual, at the movement, at the expression. So as much as possible, I want to be integrating all of what we are, because spiritual dimension can give information, the emotional dimension, the sexual dimension can give information about yourself. So why don't take them all and look at them all?
Is there a specific teacher that taught you a person? I heard that your body is really your main master. I'm wondering if there's a specific teacher or person that was a special inspiration for you.
Yes, big reference to El Maestro, mi hermano, mi marido, Daniel Taropio. My master, my brother, I love him, Daniel Taropio from Argentina. He has been my everything. And I haven't seen him in a while. I'm sure soon we will do and run workshops together. He has been he's my master, my brother, my husband, everything.
What's the story with him?
No, it's this school. He's a founder of the school. It's all in Spanish. It's mainly South America and Spain based. It's called Primordial Interactions, which is how to heal, grow, and transcend through the other, through the interaction with the other. Because at the end of the day, we're constantly interacting. One of the universal pillar of this universe is the interactive dynamics. We're constantly interacting with outside, inside, people, trees, everything. So his school is a bit of a biologist, physicist, psychologist clinic, and he has taken a piece of each discipline related to this piece of life and created a 3-year school that combines the energetic, the emotional, the spiritual, the sexual, all of it. And it's called Integral and Transpersonal Psychology, which includes movement, primal dance, emotional expression, all of our dimension, and transcendental spirituality. So big credits for him, always.
So you said he's your brother, your husband. That I don't know how that works together.
No, I don't know. It's just a feeling I have. A feeling of pure and unconditional love that you could have to a brother, a husband, or a teacher. Mm.
Would you say that your relationships, and would you say that love relationships? So I don't know if I understand that you've had a loving relationship with him also as a partner, or was it, or where? My question is, how has been the impact of intimate relationship, romantic relationship in your learning, and how does that work now?
Yeah, that's been massive. Especially with my ex, and especially now with my current partner, which is listening to me right now. Aren't you? Yeah, definitely love. I mean, a lot of your gifts, a lot of your talents, a lot of your shadows will be shown to you by someone else in your life. That's why this is a relational game. Yeah. You we need each other's for each other's expansion. I need you to see parts of me that I cannot see on my own, especially the most intimate relationship with a partner, with kids, with bros, with sisters, with friends. Um, so my ex has been a gigantic impact on my life, on extreme light and extreme darkness. She was a facilitator as well. We were traveling around the world to facilitate together, and through her I saw a lot of my shadows, a lot of my darkness, a lot of my talents. She was the first person that saw me, that saw through the depths of my being and told me, Nico, you are meant for this. And I was not at the very beginning, but maybe on second phase of my opening up to this type of work. So of course, her reassurance, her firm belief created a massive solidity within me, a massive validation that, okay, I'm in the right path. And so she brought a lot. She brought a lot of all the different polarities.
What are some of the shadows that she revealed of you?
In that moment, I was in the period where my masculine energy was so full of work, responsibilities, weight, and exhaustion that I was not able to hold her feminine expression. I was not able to hold conflicts. That's another little issue of a disconnected masculine, is that when there is a little conflict, the masculine runs away. If it's not the mountain still connected, yeah. So I was avoiding conflict. When she was a lot in her wild, chaotic, feminine expression, I was running away. I was escaping it because I did not have enough inner empty space for her to be. Then, of course, she was all over the place as well. But, it's okay. But I could see a lot of my disconnection, a lot of my exhaustion, a lot of my disconnected and rooted and grounded masculine. Another big shadow of mine that I was able to see through her was envy. And then envy became envy, if we just look at it without judging it, is the biggest portal for you to see who you want to be and what traits you want to have. So if we were able to just take envy as an energy, which is neither good nor bad, which is there, for me to see, oh my God, I would love to have those traits. I would love to have those type of qualities in me. That's one of the biggest path of learning for you. And it might sound controversial, but it's not for me. So in the problem is when you make it a problem. But anger, envy, they're not a problem per se. They become a problem when you reject them, when you say no to them, when you don't want to observe what they are and the energy that they're there to express. So initially, of course, I decided not to see that I was so envy at many things that she was facilitating, many ways, in all the ways that she was facilitating retreats and events. So I was getting contracted. I was responding to her, hurting her. I was harming her with the words, but that was not the envy. It was me saying no to the envy that was creating, that monster on me. And then through this path, I was able to admit and acknowledge, love, I've been envious of you because I could see this trait, this quality. But then I realized that these qualities live within me as well. And you came here to awaken them in me. That's the beauty of envy. Viva, alleluia, envy, if we take it in this way.
Really, as a way to see what it is that we're wanting to develop or uncover about ourselves.
Yes. And thank you, person that I'm envying, for showing me the traits that I do have already. They are just dormant. So maybe instead of rejecting you, let me stay closer to you. You know? That's how we transform envy into a beautiful thing, because it is a beautiful thing.
Do you think that there is a mourning or a support that is necessary to transform how we navigate envy?
Yeah, unless you've been conceived and you've grown up in a family that said yes to absolutely everything, anger, joy, envy, then of course you need help. Either from, therapist now is a word that has been from a coach, or retreats, events, or even from this conversation, if it resonated for you, because yeah, we all need help. And the path starts when you own the fact that we all need help, even verbally. I need help. That already liberates vitality, because truth liberates vitality. Liberates. I need help. Oh my God. I need some time with you. I need a hug. I need to cry. Oh my God. That's how we restore our humanness that we completely lost and forgot in a world where we want to become everything and we forgot about the roots. Feeling feelings and asking and having needs, which is what you teach and offer as well. The basics of humanness that we completely forgot, that we need to go back to. The touch, the smell, the hug, the I love you. May I hug you? I need your love for 1 second. I need your silent presence for one moment because maybe I need to cry. I need, yeah.
There are people that don't seem to be looking for touch. Some of them only sexually. Some of them tend to feel very distant in terms of touch with other people. Do you think it's a problem that some people are not looking for touch or don't seem to be needing it?
It's not natural not to need a caress, not to need a touch, because God or whoever gave you hands not to use it in a laptop all the time. Why do you have hands? To hold yourself, to hold someone else, and then to work on your laptop. Yeah. So then, of course, there is a big veil of conditioning around the word touch. Because when we say touch, we already fill it up with, oh my God, sexual touch, oh my God, genital touch. Yeah. So we have charged this word with unnecessary connotations. Yeah. In yoga, in many traditions, the heart chakra goes till here. The palm, the inward palm of your hands are an expression of your heart. And we need to simply remember how to transmit peace, presence, safety, love without purpose, love with no hidden motives. It's not I touch you because I want something from you. That's the fear that we have. It's I touch you because nothing. I touch you as an act of love. And an act of love is generous with no expectations, with no hidden agendas. The problem is that we do everything with hidden agendas. I make love with you because I want to have an orgasm because I want to discharge my stress. I touch you because then I want to get to tal. That's where we have lost the innocence. Innocence. What is the purpose of a kid doing whatever it's doing? Nothing. Just doing whatever it's doing. You know? It's like going on a walk with your kid. What is the purpose of that? Nothing. Just being there. That's what we need to go back to in sex, in the way we communicate, in the way we relate to each other. Balancing it with, okay, I do this because then I want to achieve this. It's not that we are removing completely now purpose, objective, targets, and KPIs. But we need to balance them.
How do you balance that?
With practice, my love. You tell me, what's the best way to become a master in something?
Doing it over and over, yeah.
Repetition. Yeah.
Maybe also feeling inspired by people that are doing it already.
Community, tribe.
Community, yeah.
Repetition. This works the same. If you want to reconnect, re-own, remaster yourself, practice every day. Otherwise, you go to a retreat with me, with you, with anyone, 3 days. You are in love with everything. After 3 days, you forgot everything.
Tell me a bit about the community you've been building around what you do.
Hearts. I love them. I mean, I haven't really built it myself. I just throw programs and events, and people will resonate. Come, but with, with so many of them, we have a lot of continuity, especially with the tribe in Barcelona. In Dubai, we have a little tribe as well. South America, because I've been traveling a lot for the past 2 years. Now I've decided to focus, Nico, focus in 2 cities, mainly London and Barcelona, to build, expand, and cultivate. The work that we're doing in London is a lot targeting the marginalized, the often silenced, isolated communities that that are either migrants or have experienced harsh traumas or LGBTQ. My plan is to do a lot of free/donation based work through ways that could allow me to still live, but offer what I do for free, because I feel what I do is something that we should have already received from education, which clearly we have not received it. So it should be for free. That's my dream. Offering everything that I do for free with some millionaires that pay me for what I do.
Sounds like a nice idea.
That's idea.
You said you want to do work with queer people. Um, a lot of what I've heard about Tantra, it tends to be quite gendered, men, women. And so, do LGBTQ people have a place in what you're doing and how?
Yeah, please, as much as possible, we are offering a view of the word that goes beyond this fixed identification. That, of course, they need to exist to be transcended. And they need to exist only until you're not fully attached to it. Because, of course, my own gender is a man, but that doesn't give me rules, models, or frameworks to follow. The only rule, framework, and model to follow is the present moment. What does the present moment is asking for? And maybe in my whole life, I've been straight because of my choice, because of my church choice, because of my parent choice. But that does not, cannot prevent me to connect to someone only because I'm straight. And that's why the only rule is, what does your body want and need right now? I would love to connect more or less deeply with this person. And maybe this person is a man. Does that make me a gay? No, it makes me nothing. It makes me connected to the present moment. It makes me alive. Yeah, that's why, as much as, of course, we want to celebrate genders and diversities, we want to go beyond those and just listen to what is the current energy asking for. Is asking to hug this other human being, regardless of whether he's hairy, no hair, blonde, no blonde. That's why we do a lot with blindfolds. Because your eyes mess up with you. Your eyes have been contaminated by interpretation, likes, dislikes that might not be real for your body. So let me connect with someone that I don't see. And let me just feel. What do I feel? Is this energy nourishing me? Yes. Let me connect more if we both want. Be
For people that would want to come, you're saying you do things that are blindfolded,
Yeah.
and obviously with some of the things that I've heard about Tantra, one of the things that I imagine people will think about when they hear that word is, are we going to be naked if we come? Are we
Yeah.
going to have to touch? Is it something like, so I understand that you've said that Tantra was not just about sex and that it was about presence and consciousness and awareness in the moment. But really, what does it mean if I come to your event or to a retreat? um do I have to get naked?
As we said before, you don't have to do anything that is not aligned and supported with what you want to do in that moment. So you will always have a choice to say, yes, I want to participate here. Yes, I feel comfortable for someone to touch my shoulder, or no, I don't feel comfortable. That's the biggest baseline. You always have a choice. There's always consent. There's always boundaries. I have never facilitated a retreat where I've asked people to get naked. Never. Then, of course, there are workshops where nudity is recommended. But personally, I have never facilitated one. It has happened that some people naturally and organically, without even me prompting that, they got naked. But that's because that's what they wanted deep within them in that moment. Maybe 10 minutes after, they were not comfortable anymore. So they got clothes on again. So there's nothing that we urge you or ask you to do unless you want to and you feel like. So yeah, no. I cannot tell you yes or no because it's really, in that moment, what do you feel like? Saying yes, say no? Touching, no touching, caressing, no caressing, hugging, no hugging, talking, no talking. But it's always going to be your choice.
So there's really this emphasis on consent and on that awareness of choice that we have, which I can imagine resonates with so many people's needs to care for their own boundaries.
And again, it's reestablishing a sense of agency, choice, and ownership. Because again, in most of the cases in our childhood, we have not chosen. We could not speak our truth. We could not put our boundaries. We could not scream at that villain. Yeah. So as much as possible, we want to re-own the choice without judging it. that's the first step is, okay, I have the choice. And now what do I do with that? Well, I judge it as, oh my God, everyone is screaming, but I'm not screaming. Oh shit. Am I wrong? Because that's another beautiful group dynamic. Oh my God, everyone is crying and I'm not crying. Am I repressed? What is happening? Is it bad that I'm not crying?
Yeah, there's a lot of comparison that can come up in group dynamics, which I imagine happens in workshops as well. And yeah,
Yeah.
I imagine that it can also bring some very interesting shadows and things that need to be seen via the group dynamic.
Why the group dynamic. That's why the group dynamics is the one that I mostly love, because it's a co-creation with the whole group. It's like an orchestra, and if one is not, it's not the right word here, but it's not functioning, the whole orchestra does not function. So it's not that there is the guy who guides, but then the magic is between all of us. Yeah, that's the beauty of groups.
Do you think you're a guru?
Guru. Love guru, she said. No. When she says a few things, I'm like, babe, normal. This is simple. Let's keep it simple. Let's not nourish my ego with these words, Let's keep the ego under control. Like, let's keep the ego humble. Humble. Yeah.
So when I'm seeing you with your gorgeous blonde hair and your linen clothes and all this charisma, if I don't know you, there might be something that might be a little bit scared, thinking, is this guy a guru? Will I lose myself? Is he not gonna take advantage of his power in the group dynamic? There has been many people that had power and that abused it. And so you're becoming a person that is holding space for a lot of people. if someone is scared of that, what would you tell them?
To be scared of that. If you're scared of that, then just be scared of that. And follow the sensations of being scared. Stay with the fear and feel it. See how it feels in your body to be scared. Otherwise, you're never going to transcend it. And you're never going to see the real reason why you are scared. Because maybe you are scared because you're going to see truths of yours that your body is so ready to receive and see that it's kind of a protection. Or maybe you're scared because you genuinely do not resonate with me. So I cannot give you an answer. The only answer is that when you're scared, be scared, close your eyes, shake, tremble, whatever expression of that fear, and then information will come to you. No, I could tell you, no, we work with a lot of safety and there is consent and there is boundary, but if you're scared, be scared and stay with it and see what it comes up.
I like that. Beautiful. Staying with the fear. Nico, thank you so much for this conversation.
Wow, it feels like it's been a year or like a week. It was sunny. You remember when it was sunny? The sun in our face, and now it's already dark.
Yes. I mean, I could ask you so many more questions, and there's so many more things I could talk to you about and listen to you. But we'll leave it there. We could always have another conversation in the future. You are going to do several workshops, including some that we will most likely hold together. So I'm very excited about that.
Yeah.
You have two programs coming up next year, both in Barcelona and in the UK. I will put the links of your website and your socials in the descriptions.
Thank you.
Is there anything else that you would like to share about what you're going to be doing in the coming times, or how to reach you if people want maybe I think you also do couples coaching, people like person one-to-one coaching as well?
One-to-one couples coaching and the training, the Artist of Love, it's called. We are starting in Barcelona this month and hopefully in London next year. And then several workshops around London at the end of the month, and in December a few, plus the other stream with corporate leadership, conscious leadership for companies, entrepreneurs, founders, etc. So yeah, you will find me somewhere in the links that you will share. And thank you, Oli. Thank you for this.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this conversation. For me, these are such rich topics, and I really like the way you bring them. I really like how you bring them, and I'm just curious to spend more time with you and learn more from you. So thank you so much, and thank you for being part of this podcast. Which
So needed. So needed. Thank you for bringing this to life. Thanks for your courage.